Would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation.
Hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
Hollywood just can't stay quiet for long. This time, the spotlight's burning hot on three major names: Tyler Perry, Eddie Murphy, and Monique. Yeah, that's right. What started as whispers behind closed doors has now blown up into full-blown drama with public shade, hurt pride, and some serious tension. So here's what went down. Tyler Perry, the billionaire filmmaker, actor, and the mastermind behind Medea, suddenly found himself at the center of a messy controversy. And we're not talking about small-time gossip either. This was a direct face-off with none other than comedy royalty, Eddie Murphy. But that's not all. Monique, the Oscar-winning actress who's been fighting for fair treatment in Hollywood, is right in the mix too. Now, you might be wondering, how in the world did these three end up tangled together like this? It all kicked off when Eddie Murphy publicly called out Tyler Perry for the way he allegedly treated Monique. Murphy didn't mince words either. He went straight for the truth as he saw it, and that hit Perry where it hurt. Perry, who's known for controlling every narrative around him, was not about to sit quietly while someone challenged his empire. Here's where things get real. For years, there's been quiet talk in the industry. Whispers that Perry Studios might have been exploiting black artists, especially those who helped build his early success. These weren't just background rumors. People have been saying it loud, calling Perry out for using creative talent and not giving them their due respect. But Perry's not just another director. He's a mogul with power, money, and major connections. He's mastered the art of surviving bad press. But then Eddie Murphy entered the scene, and that changed everything. Murphy's not some rookie trying to get attention. He's a living legend with decades in the game, loved by generations. So when he spoke out, the industry stopped and listened. His words reignited all those old claims about Perry's behavior toward black artists. And suddenly, that carefully built image of success started showing cracks. It's wild because Tyler Perry has always presented himself as the man who broke barriers, created jobs, and built his own studio empire from scratch. But now, those same achievements are being questioned. Was it empowerment or exploitation? The timing couldn't be worse either, because once Murphy spoke up, other names started resurfacing too. It's like everyone's been waiting for the right moment to talk, and now the floodgates are opening. And the craziest part? Eddie Murphy isn't even the type to jump into beefs. He's been in Hollywood long enough to know how messy things can get, and he's always played it cool. But this time, something clearly pushed him too far. After watching how Monique's career took hit after hit following her public fallout with Perry and others, Murphy seems to have drawn a line in the sand, and he's making it clear he's not impressed with how Perry handles his business anymore. Hollywood might pretend it's all glitz and glam, but behind those smiles, the tension is real. And this one's just getting started. Eddie Murphy's done watching from the sidelines. He's had enough. After seeing the ongoing accusations about Tyler Perry allegedly mistreating black artists, Murphy decided to step up and draw his own line in the sand. He's not just defending Monique, he's standing up for every black creative who's ever felt dismissed or underpaid in an industry that claims to celebrate them. That's a bold move, and people are definitely paying attention. Murphy's never been one to chase drama, but this time he's putting his weight behind a bigger message. He's reminding everyone that fame and power don't excuse you from treating people right. It's like he's saying enough with the double standards. His stance is shaking Hollywood's comfort zone because when someone with Murphy's history and influence speaks out, the whole industry listens. Here's where it gets extra juicy. These two weren't always at odds. Believe it or not, Eddie Murphy and Tyler Perry used to have a solid relationship. Perry has even said before that Murphy was one of his biggest inspirations. They used to show each other respect from afar, always hyping one another's success. But here's the catch. Despite all that admiration, they've never actually worked together. And apparently that's been bugging Perry. Word is he's been trying to get Eddie on board for a collaboration, but Murphy's been straight up ghosting him. That's right. Perry himself claimed that Eddie's been dodging his calls, ignoring pitches, and just acting like he's got better things to do. So now you've got this weird dynamic, the billionaire mogul who wants Murphy's respect and the comedy legend who seems to be keeping his distance. It's the kind of silent tension that says a lot without a single word spoken, but now that Murphy's calling Perry out for allegedly exploiting black talent, that tension's blowing up in public. The same man Perry once praised is now challenging him, and that's a blow to Perry's image that's hard to spin. But let's look closer at Perry's version of events. He's been real vocal about Murphy ghosting him, painting himself like the one left hanging. He's told interviewers he's been trying to link up with Murphy for years, but keeps getting ignored.
Would love to work with Eddie. Eddie won't return my calls, so maybe one day we'll have a conversation.
Yet, what Perry's conveniently not explaining is why Murphy stopped responding. That missing detail is exactly what's making people suspicious, because Murphy isn't known for being shady or difficult to work with. So what really made him cut ties? Some folks believe Perry's skipping that part because it doesn't make him look good. Maybe Murphy's silence isn't about ego at all. Maybe it's about principle. Could it be that Eddie's distancing himself because he saw something behind the scenes that didn't sit right with him? Well, here's where it gets deeper. Sources close to the situation say Eddie Murphy saw a side of Tyler Perry he couldn't respect. He reportedly felt that Perry's public image, the one built around helping black artists and creating opportunities, didn't always match what was happening behind the camera. Murphy's a man who takes pride in supporting and empowering other black performers. So seeing someone in Perry's position allegedly doing the opposite hit hard. And sure, Perry's achievements look incredible on paper, the massive studio, the interviews about building black wealth, the speeches about empowerment. But according to Murphy, a lot of that is surface level, a show for public approval. Murphy allegedly believes Perry's not doing enough to genuinely lift up the same community that helped him rise. To Murphy, that's not just disappointing, it's a betrayal. He thinks someone with Perry's success has a responsibility to open doors, not close them, especially for young black artists trying to make it. And if you want an example of what pushed Murphy over the edge, look no further than Monique's story. Now, let's rewind to 2009, the release of Precious. This wasn't just another movie, it was a gut-wrenching drama that shook audiences to their core. Monique, known for making people laugh, stepped into a brutal emotional role as Mary Lee Johnston, the abusive mother of the lead character. And she didn't just act, she owned that part. Her performance was so raw, so unforgettable, that it earned her both a Golden Globe and an Academy Award. It should have been the peak of her career, but instead of a victory lap, things started going downhill fast. And according to Monique, that's when Tyler Perry's name became part of her biggest struggle. Now, this is where the story really explodes. What should have been Monique's ultimate career high turned into one of the messiest behind-the-scenes Hollywood dramas ever. Sure, Precious was winning awards left and right, but behind that glittering red carpet was pure chaos. And right in the middle of it all were the producers, Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and of course, Tyler Perry. So here's the scoop. Before award season even kicked off, Monique was asked to represent the film at the Cannes Film Festival in France. Sounds glamorous, right? But here's the shady part. She wasn't going to get paid for it. The trip wasn't in her contract, meaning she'd have to fly out, do press, and show face for free.
Then Tyler Perry and I had a conversation at the Hoodie Award. At the time, it was called the Hoodie Award, when they were trying to get me to go do all of this press internationally.
And for those that don't know, who put on that Hoodie Award?
Steve Harvey put on the Hoodie Awards in Vegas, right? So it just makes me smile the way this whole scene went down. So I'm beckoned to go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, right? I'm beckoned. So I go into Tyler Perry's dressing room, and there are about maybe 25 people on Tyler Perry's team. And he does this.
Like that? Okay.
And everyone leaves. Well, I have my security with me. And I looked at my security like, you don't work for Tyler Perry. So my security stayed in the room. So Tyler Perry says to me, listen, you may really want to consider promoting this film, because if you get nominated for an Oscar award, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. I said, Tyler, who you talking to? I'm a black woman. Where do they pay those type of salaries, brother? I said, what I cannot do, Tyler, is work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I cannot go overseas and do this for free, Tyler. So then he goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not going to do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same page.
Well, Monique wasn't having it. She stood her ground, said no, and refused to play along with what she felt was an unfair ask. That move rocked Hollywood's comfort zone. The industry wasn't used to a black woman saying no to the system. Her decision was bold and costly. Monique basically threw a wrench into the Hollywood machine by refusing to be taken advantage of. And from that point on, she became a target. She explained her reasoning clearly too. I said, Oprah, I'm doing a talk show, I'm doing a comedy tour, I have a husband and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime and I'm gonna take advantage of it. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part, Monique told The Hollywood Reporter. But that act of self-respect didn't go over well. After that, she says the producers, including Perry, started labeling her as difficult to work with. It became her Hollywood scarlet letter, following her everywhere. And according to Monique, that reputation seriously damaged her career. Projects dried up, offers disappeared, and her name got quietly blacklisted in circles she used to run. Years later, Monique revealed that Lee Daniels, the director of Precious, personally reached out to her with regret about how everything went down. He even admitted he should have handled things differently. But as for Oprah and Tyler Perry, she claims they never publicly apologized or took responsibility. Fast forward to 2022, and this is where things get wild. Monique revealed she had audio receipts. She said she recorded a private phone call with Tyler Perry, where he allegedly admitted to his wrongdoings and agreed to make amends publicly. But here's the thing, Perry never followed through. During her appearance on Club Shay Shay, Monique explained that she'd even sent the recording to Al Sharpton. Yes, that Al Sharpton, hoping he could mediate a public discussion between her and Perry. But what happened next left everyone stunned.
Fast forward.
Things,
Everything kind of comes out with Lee, Oprah, and there's an audio conversation that you guys had with Tyler.
I got a call on my cell, and her and I would just so happen to be standing together. And that's when he called me and looking for Monique to say, hey, I'd like to speak with y'all because I heard your podcast, I could hear the hurt, and you heard the audio.
For the viewers listening, we're gonna play the audio now.
Community is involved, and they want to see how it's going to play out. Because the community is saying, wait a minute, hold up. We don't know this sister to be no bullshitter. We know she a loudmouth. We know she'll say some shit off the wall. But what we know about it is she true to her word.
And all I would ask you is two questions. The first question is, did you not just say it was wrong?
Tyler.
Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something?
I absolutely said that, yeah.
So the question I would say is...
Okay, is there a number? Taking that back to them was just a huge problem, okay? And I'll get to the David Talbot thing in a minute, because I just watched your podcast, and it really broke my heart, because number one, I feel you. I feel the sadness that's from you in all of this. And I don't want you to feel that, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening since you won that award. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would happen is in the next deal, you would have got more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different. I believe that much in your talent. So in saying all of that, I just say it's just heartbreaking, because I don't ever want you to think that I'm out trying to blackball or say anything. Please give me when I say this. I'm not trying to hurt you. I would never try to hurt you.
According to Monique, Sharpton went completely silent for 6 months after receiving the recording. Then, when she finally saw him again, it wasn't in a meeting or a phone call, it was on TV. She said, the next time we saw Al Sharpton, he was on a podium talking about we don't need to fly commercial because we can fly Tyler Perry's private jet. That's when it hit her. Maybe his silence wasn't a coincidence after all. That detail sent shockwaves through social media. Fans started connecting dots and wondering if Perry's power was protecting him from the fallout. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry has stayed completely silent, never addressing the alleged recording or the decades-long tension between him and Monique. It's like he's hoping the storm will blow over, but Monique's not letting that happen. She's taken her fight public, and even on the road. During Cat Williams' Dark Matter comedy tour, Monique didn't hold back. According to reports, she used her time on stage to call out both Oprah and Perry directly, naming names and firing shots. And she didn't just vent, she rallied the crowd. TMZ reported that Monique got the audience involved, leading chants against the two moguls and calling them out for what she saw as fake support of black artists. At one point, she even urged fans to repeat after her, labeling Oprah and Perry con artists for how they'd handled her situation. Yeah, she said that out loud and clear. Monique's energy that night was fierce, raw emotion mixed with years of frustration. She wasn't cracking jokes, she was unloading truth bombs. Whether people agree with her or not, one thing's clear, she's done staying quiet. And while Perry keeps silent, hoping to move past the controversy, Monique's making sure her side of the story gets heard. One stage, one mic, one city at a time. Monique isn't backing down, not one bit. She's thrown down the gauntlet in front of Oprah and Tyler Perry, daring them to face her in the open. It's like she's saying, I'm done playing nice, and the world is just watching, waiting for the next move in this heavyweight showdown.
What is that black dick connected to? That black man? So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black dicks who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. No, baby, I wasn't blackballed. I was up by some who had no balls. And see, I know they like to say, Monique, you talk to motherfucker, but it would kill me not to say the real shit. It would kill me not to say the real shit. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck if I had one.
On stage, she didn't hold back, not even a little. You, Oprah Winfrey. You, Tyler Perry. She shouted to the crowd, her voice full of fire. Then she got the audience hyped up, saying, say it with me. Some fans jumped right in, but others hesitated, and Monique noticed. So what did she do? She called them out right there on the spot, teasing the ones who were too scared to join in, but in a twist no one saw coming. She said it all came from love. She claimed that her truth-telling wasn't hate, it was about accountability. But let's be real, that didn't stop her from going straight for the jugular. She started throwing shade at Oprah's inner circle, calling out her longtime best friend Gayle King. Then she dropped a bombshell, hinting that Oprah and Gayle's friendship might be a little more than just friendship. The audience gasped. Monique had everyone in that venue hanging on every single word. She made it crystal clear. She's not afraid of anyone. I'm too grown to be scared of this. I'm too old to be intimidated by this. I'm too old to hold the truth, she declared, her voice shaking with emotion. And the crowd ate it up. Some people cheered like it was a revolution. Others looked nervous, unsure if they were witnessing comedy or a public reckoning. Clips from that performance exploded across social media. One user on X reposted a clip saying, Monique still got that grudge for real. Another wrote, she went ham. But honestly, how would you feel if two people who were supposed to be your friends messed with your bag? People were debating hard. Some backed Monique's passion. Others said it was time to let the past die. One commenter said, you can tell people are scared to laugh because the truth is muffled nowadays. Another replied, I love Monique, but she's too grown to still be holding on to this drama. Let it go. And someone else chimed in, I get it, they wronged her. But why make paying fans sit through another round of the same story? They came to laugh, not listen to therapy on stage. So yeah, opinions were split. Some saw Monique as a truth teller standing her ground. Others saw her as someone stuck in the past. But guess who's not telling her to move on? Eddie Murphy. Murphy's not just watching from the sidelines, he's riding with her all the way. He believes Monique was done dirty and has every right to call it out. From his point of view, this isn't about bitterness, rather it's about justice. After all, she didn't just lose opportunities, she lost nearly a decade of her career because of the fallout with Oprah, and especially Tyler Perry. To Murphy, this is bigger than personal grudges. It's about power. Who gets to tell the truth and who gets punished for it? He's been around long enough to recognize when someone's being blackballed, and he's not afraid to say it out loud. He's basically reminding everyone that healing isn't always as simple as move on when you've been wronged that deeply. But that's not even the full reason Eddie's angry with Perry. Oh no, this goes way beyond Monique, because Monique wasn't the first to feel Perry's heavy hand. There's another moment that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and Eddie hasn't forgotten about it either. Let's rewind a bit. This happened just days before Tyler Perry opened his massive new production studio in Atlanta, a historic event that was supposed to celebrate Black excellence in entertainment. The buzz was insane. Everyone from Beyonce to Denzel was expected to attend. But while the cameras were flashing and the champagne was chilling, something shady was happening behind the scenes. Right before the big launch, Perry fired 4 of his writers out of nowhere. That's right, he gave the boot to Lamont Farrell, Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, and Terry Brown. All four had been working on Perry's hit TBS sitcom House of Pain, which had built a loyal audience. And these weren't just rookie writers either. They were seasoned, award-winning creatives. Farrell, for instance, was a Temple University alum who'd written for hit shows like Girlfriends, Moshe, and The Parenthood. All legit WGA Writers Guild of America programs. So what happened? According to insiders, it was because they got involved in a WGA organizing effort trying to get Perry's shows to go union so writers could get fair pay and benefits. Yep, they were standing up for themselves, and apparently that was enough to get them fired. Lamont Farrell later said, "I'm a member of the WGA. I knew Tyler's show wasn't a union show when I took the job, but there was talk that it could possibly go union." Sounds reasonable, right? But apparently Perry wasn't having it. His productions have always been known for operating independently, meaning he didn't have to follow certain union rules. And when the writers pushed for change, that independence turned into a weapon against them. To Eddie Murphy, that kind of move said everything. Because if Perry could allegedly cut loose a group of black writers for standing up for fair treatment, what else was he capable of doing to others who challenged his system? And now, with Monique's story in the mix, Murphy's patience has officially run out. He's seeing a pattern. One where anyone who dares to speak up or demand fair treatment somehow ends up on the outside looking in. And that's the kind of Hollywood power play Murphy's no longer willing to ignore. Now here's where the whole thing starts to look real messy. The fired writers began speaking out, and what they revealed about Tyler Perry Studios wasn't pretty. They said they'd been asking for something simple, the right to unionize. For years, they'd been grinding hard writing House of Pain episodes, but without health benefits, pensions, or even basic union wages. Imagine that. Working on a hit cable sitcom and still getting paid less than the industry standard. Lamont Farrell explained that he and the others had been asking Perry to let the show go union so writers could finally get fair treatment. "We weren't asking for anything crazy," he said. "We just wanted what most writers already have, health insurance, dental, and a pension plan. Seems fair, right?" But instead of progress, things got complicated fast. The company behind House of Pain claimed the writers were fired for just cause. But the Writers Guild of America, WGA, wasn't buying that story. According to them, the real reason those writers lost their jobs was because they got involved in a union organizing effort. Basically, they stood up and got shut down. The WGA said the trouble started long before the firings. Farrell, Kelly Griffin, Christopher Moore, and Terry Brown Jackson, all award-winning writers, were among a group of 7 who tried negotiating the first ever WGA contract with Perry's production company. This was the same team behind House of Pain and the then upcoming Meet the Browns. But guess what? No contract was ever signed. The talks went nowhere, and instead of rewarding their loyalty, Perry's company cut them loose. According to the WGA, that move wasn't about bad work. It was retaliation, plain and simple. Now let's flip to Perry's side of the story. His attorney, Matt Johnson, told reporters that the writers were fired because of poor performance, but that explanation didn't exactly add up. These weren't rookies. These were the same people who had already written over 100 episodes of Perry's hit sitcom, which had become a syndicated success on Fox. And here's where the numbers don't lie. Out of the 7 writers who pushed for a union contract, only 4 were fired, while 3 others were invited to stay on, and 2 even continued working. So clearly something else was going on behind the scenes. The logic just didn't hold. Lamont Farrell himself told reporters, "Up to that point, we wrote 100 episodes of House of Pain. The show won 3 Image Awards, including Best Comedy on Television. We just done a table read in Atlanta with Tyler and the cast, and everyone gave us a standing ovation for the scripts. Tyler even told us, 'These are golden.' That was a week before he fired us." He went on to say the decision made no sense. "You wouldn't bring people back for another season if you weren't happy with their work," Farrell said. "TBS ordered 26 more episodes. We wrote 16 of them. Then suddenly we're all out the door? It just didn't add up." But what Perry allegedly did next had people fuming. Farrell revealed that the very next day after firing the writers, Perry called the WGA and announced he wanted to go union. "He fired us on Monday," Farrell said. "Then Tuesday morning he wanted to go union. It felt like a slap in the face, like he was saying, 'I'll do it on my terms, not yours.'" That move made headlines across Hollywood and stirred outrage online. Fans and writers flooded social media with angry posts, calling Perry's actions cold and calculated. One viral post read, "Never forget when the DA had to picket Tyler Perry Studios after he fired his writers for trying to unionize." And that wasn't even the end of the backlash. critics started re-examining Perry's entire empire, and one voice in particular made waves. Cultural critic Jamila Lemieux decided she couldn't stay quiet anymore. She penned a fiery open letter to Tyler Perry, and NPR decided it was powerful enough to publish. She didn't sugarcoat a thing. Lemieux called Perry out directly, accusing him of using harmful stereotypes in his films and shows that hurt the same black audiences he claimed to uplift. She basically said, "You built an empire off black pain and trauma, and now you're profiting from it." In her letter, she broke down how Perry's stories often leaned on one-dimensional portrayals: the angry black woman, the cheating husband, the saintly matriarch, and how those cliches were doing more harm than good. She wasn't the only one who felt that way either. Many in the black creative community began echoing her concerns, questioning whether Perry's independent empire was actually helping or hurting the culture. So while Perry's public image was all about black excellence, more and more people were starting to see cracks in that narrative. Between Monique's feud, the writer firings, and the cultural backlash from critics like Lemieux, it was starting to look like the empire Tyler Perry built might be standing on some shaky ground. And with Eddie Murphy now stepping into the conversation, it feels like Hollywood's power players are finally being forced to face the questions they've dodged for years. The criticism didn't stop with Monique or the fired writers. It kept rolling in. One of the loudest voices came from cultural critic Jamila Lemieux, and she went straight for the heart of Tyler Perry's empire, his Medea character. She said, "The country has laughed at one of the most important members of the black community, Mother Dear, the beloved matriarch. I just can't quite get with seeing Mother Dear played by a 6'3" man with prosthetic breasts flopping in the wind. Our mothers and grandmothers deserve much more than that." That line hit like a punch to the gut. She wasn't joking. She was calling out what she saw as disrespect disguised as comedy. Lemieux argued that those Medea movies, while funny on the surface, actually made a joke out of the very women who held black families together through generations. She said, "Heck, our fathers and grandfathers deserve more too." And that part had people thinking maybe she had a point. But then she dropped another bomb. She said, "Mr. Perry, you've told Hollywood's old guard to kiss your backside, and I appreciate that, brother. But many black folks have expressed some of the same concerns about your work that white critics have." Boom! That one hit Perry right where it hurts, his credibility with the black community. And just when you thought it couldn't get any heavier, legendary director Spike Lee jumped in. Yeah, that's Spike Lee, the man who built a career telling powerful, complex stories about black life. He didn't hold back either. Spike straight up called out Perry's stereotypical storytelling, saying Hollywood could level up big time if it stopped relying on one-dimensional portrayals like the ones seen in Perry's biggest hits. Spike made it clear he respected Perry's hustle, but questioned his message. According to him, those over-the-top characters might be making money, but they're not doing much for representation. And Spike wasn't the only one feeling that way. The critiques started coming from all directions.
When I'm hearing all this noise, man, it was crazy because there were no black people on television. Before diversity became a thing, Tyler Perry was the only one out there for a long time.
People began pointing out something deeper, that Perry's casting choices often seemed to follow a pattern. Many claimed that darker-skinned actors were usually cast as villains, while lighter-skinned or even white characters were painted as saviors or the good ones. Fans online started digging through Perry's filmography, and once they noticed the trend, it became hard to unsee.
I'm not a Tyler Perry fan, so this is what I got to say. It's funny how he got all this money to do everything but the right thing.
Working on a regular network show, they take a whole week to film an episode. Tyler Perry Studios, they film an episode in one day.
Even Chris Rock stepped into the conversation. He called out how Perry's films rarely show loving, respectful black men with darker skin tones. He joked, "There's not a whole lot of kind and respectful dark-skinned boyfriends in Tyler Perry's movies." And then he hit Perry with a curveball of a comparison, saying, "Tupac might have been a political leader if he were alive today. But then again, he might be the bad, dark-skinned boyfriend in a Tyler Perry movie." That line went viral instantly, partly because it was funny, but mostly because it was true to what a lot of people had already been whispering. Between Spike Lee, Chris Rock, and Jamila Lemieux, Perry's image as an untouchable creative genius was starting to take hits from every direction. Eddie Murphy saw all this unfold, the Monique feud, the writer firings, the community criticism, and it only made him dig his heels in deeper. To him, this wasn't just about industry gossip anymore. It was about accountability. He's standing on the side of the artists who feel unheard, the ones who risk everything just to be treated fairly. And now everyone's watching this storm bill, wondering if Perry's silence will protect him, or if this time, even he can't talk his way out of the controversy. Because when legends like Murphy, Rock, and Spike Lee are all circling the same issue, you know something real is going down. So tell us what you think. Is Eddie Murphy right to call Tyler Perry out? Or is Perry just another creative trying to survive in an industry that's quick to tear its own down? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this story, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new deep dive like this one. Until next time, fam, keep it real.